Hey everyone, and welcome back. And I thought I'd sit down with you all and talk about some news that's going on in the gaming community right now, such as Sony going full commie like a bunch of idiots, and Bethesda committing career suicide. Let's discuss. The first one I want to talk about is Sony. Sony, for whatever reason, decided they wanted to implement a censorship policy of their own free will. You know, the ESRB didn't force this on them. No, they did it of their own free will. And this is after moving to California to set up their headquarters because console gaming isn't very profitable in Japan much these days because people have been moving on to things like the Switch. So they decide to move to America, where console gaming is still very huge in the marketplace and still very profitable. But for some reason, they think, oh, let's move to California, the liberal cut capital of the world. The place where if you do anything that's regarded as insensitive, a bunch of people are going to have a frickin' protest outside your headquarters and turn it into a Milo Yiannopoulos rally. No, but so they decide to implement a fucking censorship policy, which in and of itself is a stupid fucking idea, because apparently Sony thinks it's a good idea to go full fucking commie, and that's not gonna fucking backfire on them. And I know that probably sounds like I'm being over the top, but no. You see, censorship was a concept that came from the Communist Party. Okay, they invented it. If you don't believe me, look it up yourself. But anyway, so yeah, here's my question to Sony. When the fuck does censorship ever work? Like, do you idiots not understand? Or, I shouldn't say idiots, because only SJWs and video game companies think this is a good idea. Normal gamers understand how fucking stupid it is to censor things, because all it does is it makes people want to see it. As Yahtzee once put it, try banny game, make people wanty game more. And that's what happens. Whenever you try to censor a game or ban a game, it just makes people want to find out why. It gets people curious. It is the Streisand effect in action. So, you think these people would have learned from Hatred. Hatred is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. That game was extremely controversial, and it pissed off a lot of quote-unquote people, even though nobody gave a shit outside of insensitive twats. But anyway, these people, they freak the fuck out about this game. Oh no, it's a game where you play as a mass shooter. Oh, the horror. Even though what they don't understand is all they did was give the game free publicity. When they started freaking out trying to ban the game and all this shit, all they did was make Hatred soar to the top of the Steam charts, okay? The game Hatred started selling like fucking crazy. Even I bought it. Even it's in my Steam library. I bought the game just to give a middle finger to censorship and people that think it's a good idea to try to ban or censor games, because it never fucking works. All it did was give Hatred free publicity, and people wanted to see what the big deal was all about. When does censoring things ever work out? It doesn't. All it does is it just makes people want to buy it. If anything, it's a good tool for free publicity. All someone has to do to get free publicity is just stir up a little bit of controversy. That's all they have to do. For example, look how id is doing with Doom Eternal. They started adding a couple of jokes to take a crack at SJWs and corporations that use political correct terms And then they make the joke of Earth is a melting pot of the universe. Don't use the term demon as an offensive term. They prefer the term mortally challenged, which is fucking great. I love it. I cannot wait for Doom Eternal. And of course, on cue, these NPCs, they get pissed off. And all they're doing is they're just giving Bethesda and id exactly what they want. Free publicity, and it gives gamers what they want because it feeds on the hatred and apathy that gamers have for these types of people. And it's brilliant. But Sony comes out and they're like, oh, we're gonna censor DOA Extreme 4. So in simple terms, you're gonna fucking ruin the game. That's what you're gonna fucking do, right? Because really, I've never understand why DOA Extreme is such a target by people. Like, okay, it's a game where you have hot chicks in bikinis playing games at a resort. Okay, who cares? They just play fucking sports activities. It's basically Wii Sports Resort, basically, but with hot chicks. And Sony's like, oh, let's censor that. So basically, you'd completely miss the whole point of the fucking game, Sony. So basically, Sony, you're just gonna ruin a fucking game, okay? It's one thing to censor a game because it's being forced on you by the ESRB, but it's another thing to completely ruin a fucking game of your own free will. Okay, do you not understand? Like, you completely destroy the whole point of the game. And it's not just DOA Extreme. The same thing is happening with this other game. I wish I could remember the name of it. But there's this game that's coming out. But Sony is having to delay the release of this game in America because there's a interactive romance kind of mode thing. Basically what it is it's very similar to the mode where you pet your Pokemon in certain areas to raise their affection for you. It's basically like that, but with girls. But I guess they decided that that's a no-no. We gotta completely remove that mode because we can't have a mode where you're touching girls in any way that could possibly be perceived as sexual. God forbid. What is the point of the ESRB then? Like, if people are already going to take out modes because of this, like, okay, there's a game called Conception 2 that had the exact same fucking thing. That game wasn't censored. In fact, that game came out on Nintendo DS. Yeah, the so-called kiddie company. Yeah, Nintendo is only for kids and only cares about kids my fucking ass. So why is it that you're going around censoring shit, Sony? Why? It's infuriating. All you do is you just piss people off. Like you really think that, first off, appealing to these fucking sensitive mothers and NPCs ain't gonna do shit, Sony, because these people, they don't play video games. They hate video games, especially the feminists that have attacked DOA Extreme from the very beginning of its existence. They hate video games. They admit it. They fucking hate video games. And you're over here like, oh, we need to have a censorship policy because we don't want to offend anyone. Fuck that. Just release the goddamn game. I will never understand why people don't understand the concept of sex sells. It does, okay? DOA Extreme was always a game meant for mature adults, okay? And maybe teenagers. Like if you actually look at a game like DOA Extreme or Hatred and think, oh no, we gotta censor this because we gotta think about the kids. Okay, first off, if you're an adult and you're buying your kids Hatred and games like Hatred and DOA Extreme, okay, that's the fault of the fucking mother, okay? That is not the fault of the creators or the child. And even then, if a kid or teenager that's under the age of 18 wants a fucking rated M game, they're gonna get it one way or another. So your rating is completely fucking pointless. And number two, it falls onto the parents to be responsible. Stop blaming the fucking developers for something that is out of their control. Your little censorship routine, it doesn't work. It never does jack fucking shit. It really needs to stop, Sony. Get rid of your fucking censorship policy. Stop censoring games because it's really getting old. Okay, like this is an example of what I'm talking about. I'm getting so sick and tired of Sony's bullshit. First, we had the PSN debacle. Then we got them getting hacked. And then we have this bullshit. Okay? I'm one of the most loyal Sony fans you'll ever see. I grew up with PlayStation. I also grew up with Nintendo. But you see, this kind of practices pisses me off. I'm sick and tired. So what now? Now that Sony has their goddamn censorship policy, what? Anytime a game comes out like DOA Extreme, Doom, or whatever, are they just going to fucking censor it? No. Fuck that shit. Okay? Stop censoring things. Okay? Here's your thing. You can either stop censoring things, you can either have your censorship, or you can get rid of the ESRB. Actually, better yet, get rid of both of them because they're completely fucking worthless. And the success of games like Hatred is proof of this. People can't stand censorship. And all you're doing is creating a culture in which all a person has to do is just create controversy to sell a game or get free publicity because these offended, fucking annoying NPCs, they will just freak the fuck out like they always do. And it's so annoying. Like, I was going to get another PS4. I was going to buy DOA Extreme 4, but fuck that. And fuck you, Sony. I'm done with your shit. Until you get your shit together, Sony, I'm done with you. I'm not giving you any fucking money, Sony. I am sick and tired of your goddamn bullshit. I'm tired of this. I am so sick and tired of this culture we live in of everyone has to walk around eggshells. We got to censor everything. We got to censor anime. We got to censor movies. We got to censor video games. Enough is enough. Okay? This is fucking horseshit. And I'm getting so sick and fucking tired of it. This is why things like Elfenlied and Hatred will always be successful. People don't like censorship. People hate this political correct culture. It is beyond annoying. Stop it. Okay? It's not going to increase your profits. It's just going to piss people off. Again, you're just going to ruin DOA Extreme 4, and you're probably going to ruin other fucking games. Fuck you, Sony. Like, when you're getting your ass handed to you by Nintendo, the quote-unquote kiddie company, that's a fucking problem. Even though Nintendo has never really been a kiddie company, that only comes from the 80s when Nintendo of America was a bunch of fucking sensitive pussies. Just like how people today are a bunch of sensitive fucking pussies. And I'm tired of it. I am tired of it, Sony. So until you get your fucking shit together, fuck you, Sony. I was gonna buy DOA Extreme, but you know what I'm gonna do instead? I'm just gonna buy DOA Extreme when it comes out on Switch, just to spite you, Sony. Okay? Fuck you, Sony. Fuck you and your fucking horseshit commie practices. I'm tired of it. Okay? And if you go bankrupt, I hope it happens, just to teach you a fucking lesson, Sony. Because you keep constantly fucking up and it's getting annoying. Stop with the goddamn censorship, okay? Stop it. It's getting old, okay? If you were intelligent, Sony, you would be using the fact that DOA Extreme is a quote-unquote controversial game to get the NPCs riled up, to get publicity for this game, so that way gamers can get excited. You would be doing what Bethesda and id Software is doing with Doom Eternal. Okay? So until further notice, fuck you, Sony. You are not getting a fucking cent out of me until you fucking clean up your bullshit. I don't fucking care. I will buy all my PlayStation games from here on out from private distributors if I have to. Okay? I'm not giving you a single goddamn cent, Sony. I'm tired of it. So that is my thoughts on Sony and their fucking censorship policy. Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the censorship. And in other news, we have Fallout 76. Holy shit. Now, I know that literally everyone is making a video on this, but what can I say? I'm a whore. I want views. Okay, so let's talk about this, and I would like to give my input on this a little bit, because I do think that this is very fascinating, because I actually am a fan of Bethesda. I've always saw them as one of the last good gaming companies left. I mean, Doom 2016 was fucking amazing. The Elder Scrolls franchise was amazing. The Fallout franchise was amazing. I love it. I mean, I have Fallout New Vegas. And I've been loving it, at least until a glitch happened that made me have to stop playing. But up until that glitch happened, I was having a fun time. But then they really fucked up with 76. I mean, holy shit, I have never seen a company fuck up this badly. I don't even think EA has ever fucked up this badly. And that's saying something, because EA is like the king of incompetent video game companies. So first, they rush out the game, and it's basically a fucking asset flip. I mean, okay, copying and pasting your coding is probably the dumbest thing you can do. Now, as someone who actually is a video game programmer and actually goes to college for this shit and is learning video game programming and how to run a business, because I want to run my own video game company someday, and as someone who is currently working on a video game myself, I can tell you that copying and pasting your coding is a really stupid idea. Now, I can understand reusing assets to a certain extent, but if you copy and paste exact coding, it's a really stupid idea, because let's say that piece of code has a glitch in it. Well, guess what? You're fucked. And that's how you end up with glitches from Fallout 4 ending up in Fallout 76. And then they act shocked that such a thing would happen. And it's just so funny to me that this is happening. Like, the game is just such a monumental disaster. No NPCs, everything is a bunch of fetch quests. There's just so many glitches out the ass. You had the whole nylon bag situation, and apparently it was revealed that the bags that they sent out to the people, the journalists and other people, were actually bags that were being sold for like $5. So their whole thing of, oh no, this product is just too expensive for us to make. Apparently it's not, if they're getting bags that can go for $5. And I'm just over here laughing my ass off, like, glitches, copy and paste coding, essentially a Fallout asset flip, and then doxing their own customers. Like, it's just, like, this is like the plot to a fucking comedy movie. I bet you if this whole situation with Bethesda and Fallout 76 was made into a movie, it would be fucking hilarious. It would probably be like #1 at the box office because people would be laughing their ass off at how funny this is. I mean, at first I was kind of angry that Bethesda would do something so stupid, but now I'm just like sitting back with a thing of popcorn and just enjoying how much Bethesda just fucking fails. Like, it's shocking and jarring to see a company fail this badly. But you know what the really funny part about it is? I actually did see this coming because the signs were there. I remember when I saw the disaster that was Elder Scrolls Online, and I heard that Fallout 76 was going to be a online Fallout game, I was thinking, oh shit, this can't end well. And I was right. But, you see, I didn't want to come off as like a hater or a dick because I love Bethesda. I really do love Bethesda. I love Elder Scrolls. I love Fallout. I love Doom. I am a huge Bethesda fanboy, so I didn't want to come off as like a dick or a hater, so I held my breath. Because I wanted to hold out hope that, hey, maybe I'm wrong and 76 will be good. Nope. It was every bit the disaster, if not even worse, than Elder Scrolls Online. It was far worse than I could have even imagined. Now, I do hear arguments that just give them a few months, they'll fix this. Well, here's the thing. They've known about glitches for 2 years that modders have been able to fix. Okay, so if you are spending all this time and you're over here with glitches from a previous game that you know about, and modders are over here fixing these, then why aren't you able to fix these? And how is it that the patches aren't really making the game any better? Like, how is it that a modder can make the game work better than the actual creators? How the hell does that work? Like, that's pretty sad looking back at it in retrospect. And again, I can't possibly imagine how much more far this is going to go because I get the feeling that Bethesda has not yet run out of failure yet. This is probably going to keep going. And you know what? I can't wait to see how Bethesda fucks up next because it's going to be extremely funny. However, though, this does also leave me worried, though, as to what this will mean for Doom Eternal, because with the way Bethesda's handling things, they have a huge, huge chance of getting sued for false advertising and revealing private information of private citizens. And if this ends up happening, Bethesda could very well end up in financial turmoil. And if that's the case, then that means that id Software won't be able to get the funding that they need for Doom Eternal, and Doom Eternal could be affected by this. I hope that's not the case. So I hope that this doesn't go too far and it doesn't lead into Bethesda going into financial turmoil. Because that would be really tragic to see this once great company just collapse like that. But what do you guys think about all of this? Do you think that Bethesda will recover and that Fallout 76 will be great at some point? Or do you think that they're just going to go into financial turmoil and completely fucking collapse? And what do you think about Sony and their censorship policy? Do you think they're being a bunch of commie fucktards? Or do you actually support them having a censorship policy? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys around for the next video.